It's great to see everyone gathered here. My name is Mustafiz, and I'm a lawyer by profession, as you heard. Do you know, I have an accountant friend, and do you know what we usually joke about? What is the primary or the fundamental difference between a lawyer and an accountant? The difference is that the accountants know that they're boring, right? The lawyers essentially are not aware of the fact that they're boring. So with that, you have a hint of what is coming your way in next 8 to 10 minutes, right? So when we went to the law school, we had a teacher who used to teach us legal history. Yes, that is a subject. And that particular professor used to tell us that a mediocre teacher will tell you what to do. A good teacher will explain to you what needs to be done. But a superior teacher will demonstrate everything to you. But you know what a mentor does differently or even beyond this demonstration? A mentor essentially inspires you. And I strongly believe that inspiration lies at the heart or at the bottom of any learning experience, right? Now, we often look towards schools, teachers, and our coaches to mentor our child. But you know, if I tell you the most influential mentor that you'll ever need, that your child will ever need in your life, can be found at your home itself. And that's you. Yes, I'm talking about you. But for that, you need to make a paradigm shift from parenting to mentoring. And that brings me to today's topic. That's beyond discipline, from going from parent to a mentor. Now, mentoring per se, you can look at mentoring as a recipe, right? A lot of ingredients go into the recipe. Even if you move a couple of ingredients here and there, you still get something which is edible, which you can eat. But there are certain basic aspects which you cannot mess up with, which you cannot go wrong at all, right? Let's focus today on those basic aspects which are needed to ensure that you transform yourself from a parent to a mentor. That's the power of mentorship. The first ingredient in this recipe of mentorship, or this which will help you in the transition, is mindset. As a parent, you need to develop mindset. I'm not sure how many people have heard of this word, but mindset essentially means that you, as a parent, are aware of your own thoughts, are aware of your emotions. Unless you, as a parent, are clear on what is your thought process, what is your emotional state right now, you'll never be able to connect with your kids, with your child. Even though you understand his emotion, but if your emotions are misaligned, you'll never be able to make an impact. That's why mindset is very important. Mindset is like driving. Driving is a regulated exercise, right? There are two aspects to any regulated exercise. One is you need to perceive where you're going. Second is you should be able to modify where you're going. That's exactly how mindset works. You should be able to perceive your thoughts. You should be able to know what your emotional state of mind is, and then steer clear of the negative aspects, hold on to the positive ones, and then interact with your child. That will make an immense impact. Now, moving on to the next recipe. As parents, I would like to ask you, I'm pretty sure that everyone at some point in time must have experienced a dilemma wherein you have two or more options. Now you have to decide which option is better for you. Maybe it can be a career choice, or it can be a small decision like which car to buy. This has more features, that's some better brand, right? This particular indecisiveness is often very frustrating. At some point in time, we have always been a part of that indecisiveness. Now imagine your child going through exactly same situation, right? He has broken something at home. Now he cannot decide whether to tell you or whether not to tell you, because he knows there will be consequences. Imagine your child, he's suffering, or he is in a dilemma whether to spend more time considering the pressure he has pertaining to studies, or he spends more time with his friend. This indecisiveness, although these decisions to us, it might seem inconsequential, right? We know that, yes, we know what the right choice is. What is there to decide for a child? But for a child, for a kid, that's a mammoth, a humongous task. And what are we supposed to do? What do? We should now, as role, what role we play as a parent is, we should not be providing them with answers, right? We should not be shoving the solutions to them that, okay, I'm more experienced. This is the solution. This is the choice. Go ahead with it. Rather than we should allow them to wrestle with the decision-making process and also to live with the consequences. You need to understand that the idea here is that you need not get every decision of your child right today. That's not the intent. The intent is that he is capable enough, he is independent enough to go into the future and make a decision for himself. You will not be there with him throughout his life to make decisions. So that's what we should intend for. That brings me to the third aspect of this, basically the whole recipe of mentoring, and that's emotional intelligence. Now, when I talk about this topic, let me share an example, which is a real life example. I have an 8-year daughter named Amira, and I wanted her to learn swimming really bad. I just wanted her to learn swimming at any cost. I took her to a swimming pool. While her lessons were going on, she underwent a situation where she felt that she was drowning, almost drowning. And the coach was there, he held her and took her aside. But she was so traumatized by that experience that she told me that, Abbu, I'm never going to take another swimming lesson in my life. Now, as a parent, what should we do? What I did, of course, it's a mistake. I motivated her to power through that situation, forget everything, ignore everything, and just move ahead. You can overcome that situation. But is that the right approach? Do you understand the amount of stress the child goes through while he was experiencing that trauma? And even while you are asking him to forget that particular situation, it's really difficult for a child. He is in a stressful situation and all the advice that he gets is just forget and move on. That's not what we are supposed to do. So what we should be doing here? The thumb rule is to rewind and remember rather than just fast forwarding. Talk to your child. Talk to her what went wrong. What did she feel? How she felt like. Develop her emotional intelligence so that she can feel what exactly happened and she is prepared for situations like this that will come in future. So the rule is to rewind, remember, discuss with your child rather than just pushing them through and asking them to forget everything and move to the next step. This brings me to another very important, very critical aspect of mentoring, how we as parents can make that paradigm shift, at that is fostering self-awareness. To explain this, again, I'll take a hypothetical example. So there was a daughter who was supposed to go for a sleepover with her friends. Now, her father knew that she will feel homesick for sure during the night. Now, there are two paths that the father can take. The first path is he speaks to her and tells her, "Beta, this is what is going to go wrong, and these are all the solutions for it." And he shoves down every solution down her throat. In this process, what he does is he loses her daughter's interest. Her daughter is annoyed. She is no longer paying attention to what the father is saying. And in the process, she is unprepared for a very potential issue or potential situation that can happen. Let's evaluate the second part. The second part is where the father tells her, just goes up to her and asks her, what do you think? Will you be homesick while you are going for the sleepover? The daughter answers that, I don't know, maybe. The father takes a step back. After a couple of minutes, he approaches the kid again and asks, what do you think if at all you feel homesick, how will you handle it? How do you think you will manage that particular situation? He again gets a very indecisive answer. The daughter says, okay, maybe I haven't thought about it. This is again a point where he can start shoving down solutions down her throat. But instead of that, he takes a step back. After some time, what it does is the daughter, while preparing for the sleepover, she's thinking over it that, yes, this is a possibility. What would I do? And then what will happen? What will happen because of this change is that she might find a solution for herself, or she might come and approach you that, yes, Daddy, how do I resolve this? Now what has happened is you have a window. You have a window of opportunity where you can advise, where you can impart your wisdom on your child. And the biggest difference is this time she's attentive. She's listening to you. She is receptive. And that's the kind of shift that we should be making. Now, another last recipe, last ingredient in the whole recipe that I would like to discuss is, which actually binds this entire thing together. And that is morality. Of course, your child needs to have emotional intelligence. Of course, he needs to know what decisions have to be made, what are right decisions, what are wrong decisions. But what is more important than making a right decision is making the right choice given the situation. The child needs to know that it's wrong to run over a red light, but at the same time, the child also needs to know that it's okay to run over a red light when it's an ambulance or someone's life is at danger. That is what morality does. That's morality binds. The entire mentoring exercise, no matter how good the ingredients are, it will not be complete unless and until there is a flavor of morality. Now, as any recipe in the world, you take any cuisine, there is one ingredient. If it is not present, that will make the food inedible. You will never enjoy that food. Yes, that ingredient is salt. Do you know what is the salt in the whole recipe of mentoring? That salt is time. The only difference is salt you cannot put too much and time you cannot put enough. No matter how much time you're investing in your child today, I can assure you, you'll need more. Time is something which will basically is the underlying principle, the basis of every mentoring activity. If you cannot spend time with your kids, no matter how good the ingredients are, your dish at the end will never taste good. Now, after the entire talk, I believe there's one question that needs to be answered, which probably has crossed everyone's mind. That why do we need this shift? Why do we really need this? So at least I can speak for myself. When I was growing up as a kid, my parents never had a mentoring approach. It was purely disciplinary approach. And we turned out to be fairly well, right? We are standing here. So it's an established approach. Why do we even get into this situation? Why do we invest so much time? The answer is your legacy. This is your legacy. This is what you leave behind. This is what your generations after you will remember. The way the disciplinary approach has been passed down since generation to us, this is what will break the barrier, and this is what you'll be remembered forever. To sum up my presentation, how mentoring works is you need to spend time, not just your kids' growth, but your personal growth, empower your child, and that builds your legacy. The last note that I want to leave you with is, mentoring is not about perfection. It is never about perfection. Mentoring is essentially about creating an environment wherein your child can grow, wherein your child can thrive. It's about empowering children to be independent, more compassionate individuals who can go into the future with a lot of confidence rather than self-doubt. Thank you. That's my time.